I am gonna look amazing. This changes everything. Those were his thoughts while nervously scrolling through Google Images. When he finally found the picture he was looking for, he smiled. "Please cut my hair like this," he told the barber who was impatiently waiting beside him. Soon after the barber was finished, the boy realized that his plan didn't work. "Why don't I look like Brad Pitt?" he wondered while looking in his reflection at a random car window in the parking lot. This might sound like the most blue-pilled story in history, but it's a real story of DBDR from last year. A guy who watched hundreds of hours of lookism content.
I go on my phone, I showed her Brad Pitt from World War Z, just like a bunch of pictures of him, and she goes, "Okay, I can get that done." She's just like snipping away, cutting it, and in my head I'm thinking like I'm gonna look like Brad Pitt.
Isn't it amazing how a supposedly lookism-aware person is this delusional? I mean, this must be one of the worst haircuts any male can get. How can't he see that he is just falling for Brad Pitt's halo? But there is more. Here are some of the most successful sprinters. And here is someone who wants to focus his career on the 500-meter dash.
But now, I feel I want to move on to other aspects of life. Namely, focusing on my running career, which you'll be able to follow more so on my Instagram if you're interested.
Did you notice anything? There is no way wheat waffles will be successful without access to the Jamaican training facilities. The question is, why are we coping so hard? You might say that you are not nearly as delusional as those guys, but let me give you a different example. A few years ago, Amazon released a massive multiplayer game called New World. The game was designed with a limited amount of coins you can gather. This means at some point you reached a maximum amount of money which will never grow further. Naturally, this leads to players being very, very careful when it comes to spending money. Just imagine you get $1 million, but you will never get a single cent more for the rest of your life. You would be constantly thinking about how to spend your money wisely. This also happened in the game. The players stopped spending their coins. This led to money becoming consistently more valuable, which is called deflation. In the end, the players of the game ended up doing minimum wage jobs. The economy was broken. The game became a simulation of people suffering. Yet many players continued playing. They thought to themselves, "I paid $50 for this. This must become fun any moment now." While not realizing that they were playing a completely broken game in which they did activities everyone hates in real life. Here is a form of coping we all do. It's the "I will achieve this later" cope. It's in our nature to think every once in a while that we will be successful even if we don't move in that direction at all. Let me give you an example. Many guys think that someday they will be a successful athlete. If they get too old, they continue coping by thinking they will be a successful coach, not understanding that their lives are heading in a completely different direction. Of course, this cope isn't limited to sports. We dream of owning our own businesses, owning a house, or just becoming rich, even if our lives move in completely different directions. Of course, this also includes finding the perfect partner. Remember, the older you get, the less likely is it to find a good partner. Lastly, I want to talk about the male and female experience. If you, as a guy, think you are allowed to do what women are allowed to do, you are coping.
Gen Z boss in a mini! Gen Z boss in a mini! Itty bitty cheese in a ball! Itty bitty cheese in a ball!